Hey everybody, Mr. Odom here, and we are going to cover section 6.4, the percent equation. So 6.3, we talked about the percent proportion, and then in this video, we're going to look at another equation we can use to solve the exact same kind of problems we did in section 6.3. Which one is better? Which one should you use? My personal favorite is the percent equation. You'll see that in section 6.5 and 6.6, I will use that more than I will use the percent proportion. But I have had students in the past that would rather use the percent proportion equation. So it doesn't matter which one you use. We're showing both of them to you. They're both part of the Common Core standards. So let me jump in. So make sure you have your pencil composition book. You will need a calculator for this lesson. And the learning target is I can use the percent equation to find parts, wholes, and percents. So here's the key idea. It's a different formula, but there's still a part, there's still a whole, and there's a percent. And this is the formula. A equals P times W, where A is the part, P is the percent written as a fraction or decimal. And I'll tell you that most of the time, I just write it as a decimal, if not all the time. And then the whole is the whole, W. All right. So remember, before you use the percent equation, to convert your percent to a fraction or decimal. Again, I always convert mine to decimals before I use the percent equation. And so we'll look at some examples, and so you'll see what I'm talking about. I already worked them out down here. So let's look at the first three. So it says write and solve an equation. The directions in section 6.3 said write and solve a proportion. So that's how you can kind of tell in the directions which formula they would like you to use. So write and solve an equation, use the percent equation. So for number one, it says what number is 10% of 20? So I already labeled what number is, so that has to be the part. What number is the part? 10% is my percent, so what's left is the whole. So I came down here, I wrote down the formula, and I just plugged in what I had. And again, I write my decimals. My percents. I like to write my percents as decimals when I use this formula. And then I just go in my calculator. 0.1 times 20 is 2. So 2 is 10% of 20. All right, number two. Again, what number is? So that is my part. That is the variable for this problem. 150% is my percent, and then the 40 is the whole. Remember, the whole is by the word of. So again, write down the equation, plug the numbers in, jump on my calculator. 60 is 150% of 40, and that hopefully will make sense to you. Made sure I did the math right, because a number that is 150% of something has to be more than that. It has to be more than 100% of it, right? So 60 sounds like a really good answer to this problem, and it actually is the correct answer. Number three. So this time 3 is the part. What percent? So I'm looking for the percent in this problem of 600. So 600 is the whole. So I write the problem down here. A equals P times W, there's my formula. 3 equals the percent times 600. And I use the multiplication property of equality. So I divide both sides by 600, and I get P equals 0.005. Now remember, the question said what percent, so I'm not going to leave my answer as a decimal. I need to write it as a percent because P should be a percent. All right, so that's 0.5%. And so that's problems 1, 2, and 3. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and pause the video, and I'd like you to work out problems 4, 5, and 6 in your composition book. If you're watching this on Edpuzzle, the video will stop, and so that you can work out problems 4, 5, and 6 in your composition books. So it'll stop now. All right, so we're back, and let's see, what do we get for our answers to number 4, 5, and 6? Okay, so 18 is what percent of 20? And if you work that one out correctly, your answer should be P equals 90%. All right. For number 5, 8 is 80% of what number? And so you're looking for the whole, and it should be 10. 8 is 80% of 10. And for number 6, 90 is 18% of what number? Again, you're looking for the whole, and the whole should be 500. So if you got those answers, then you're good to go. If you didn't, work them out again, see what you might have gotten wrong. If you still have problems, then ask me in class. I'll work these out during class. All right, let's look at the next problem. So here's kind of a realistic problem. So here's a bill from eating at the 8th Street Cafe, and you have your food total. Well, it's $27.50, and then your sales tax, and so that's your subtotal right there. And usually people will leave a tip, and then there will be a total amount that they'll pay. So the first part of the problem basically wants us to figure out what is the percent of sales tax, and it's based on the food total. So I wrote a little problem. $1.65, which is the sales tax, is what percent of $27.50? Okay, so this is my question, and I labeled the part, the percent, and the whole. And then there's my formula, A equals P times W. And I know what A is. It's $1.65. I just write it as a decimal. My percent is what I'm looking for. And then there's my whole. And I divide both sides by 27.5. And I end up with this decimal. And remember, the question says find the percent of sales tax. So I need to turn the decimal into a percent. So this is 6% sales tax. All right. Let's look at the next part, which is the tip. So you want to leave a tip. So let's figure out what's the amount of a 16% tip on the food total. Okay, so the food total is the whole again. The percent now is this 16%. And I need to figure out what the part is. Okay. And so we do that. Here's my equation. I need to figure out what A is. My percent, I like to write mine as a decimal, and then I put 27.5. I get 4.4, but now we got to think about this in the context of the problem because I'm looking for a tip, which is a dollar amount. So I'm not going to say $4.4, but I can say $4.40. I just add that zero on there when I'm talking about money. All right, well, what if for problem 7 down here, find the amount of a 20% tip on the food total. So instead of 16%, so I had 0.16 up there, now I put a 20% tip in, 0.2. So I just substitute 0.2 for the percent. I'm still looking for the part in these problems. I'm looking for the part. And I put this in my calculator, and I end up with the part is 5.5. And again, I write that as a monetary amount because I'm talking about money. So if I wanted to leave a 20% tip, it would be $5.50. And if you're paying with your credit card, then usually typically what people do is they'll write that tip in there, and then they'll do the math, and they'll figure out how much their credit card is going to be. So if we left a 20% tip, how much would that be? That would be 50, that'd be 6, 5, 20, and 34. So $34. So that's how much your credit card would be charged. Okay. So that's all we have for the percent equation. Again, I prefer this one over the percent proportion, but that's just me. You may like the percent proportion better. So that's all I have. Hopefully you guys have a good day. This is Mr. Odom, and I'm out.